Hey, it's Nick Krogstead once again, and my game is finally complete. And basically, just gonna go through a walkthrough right here, the whole game, how it works, then play a couple times. So, ended up having like several classes. First one being my player. This is our main character, our frog. Switched them to sprites so that I can do my collision check because it wasn't working before. So, ran the init function. So it overrides our original one, and this line loads our frog image. This one sets its color key background to white so that it doesn't render a frog with a white background. Sets its position, which is square in the middle of the screen at the bottom where you start. Got its speed, and the self.rect is used for collision check, which you'll see later. It has its Y speed, life. It's just our life counter. Setting our hit to false, later will be true if you connect with an enemy. Have our timer of 40, which is crucial for the collision check, because if it were to run without a timer, you would be hit multiple times within the frames of the game, so you would die automatically. So it needs a period of invulnerability. And self.win, same thing as self.life. We'll call it later. Render draws it onto the screen, update, creates movement, and also we call the rect center in there. That's for collision check, just like the other get wrecked. Capsule is our base. It runs pretty much like the enemies, except we use the win function instead of the life function. Same stuff there. Render draws it. Enemies, these are all 6 of our enemies now. We have our meteor, our ship, everything's the same there. Ship, they all also have wrecks so that they can collide with our main character. Rocket, another enemy. Shooting's another enemy. Cat, definitely the worst enemy. Thing flies. Bowser's our last enemy. Had to throw them in there. Then we had our dividers. That's our lines separating our grid. We have gold and silver. Gold's the start and finish line. Silver's everything in between. Put them in. This is our startup screen. Self-explanatory there. Fonts, choices and rules. I have a rule section in it, and space to play the game. Just like a while loop right there, so that everything runs correctly. I went with a blue background. Saw that it was kind of plain, so I put a moon background in there. I think you'll like it. It's pretty nice. Then we have display flip thing in there, just like a main while loop. That's the end of our intro screen. And then this is all of our variables, things that I use like colors, speed coordinate, X and Y coordinates, the fonts that I use, as well as loose text for game over, win text, when you win, you win. And then I have our sounds for collision, the sound on collision, and then a sound on collision for the base for when you win. And here we get into our main while loop variables, where we have our screen size for the actual game, caption. The game's called Krogger, so that renders that in the top left corner. Background image, I went with the space background, you'll see. And these are calling all of our classes right here, as well as adding enemies to for collision check. This line right here is collision check for enemies. This is collision check for the actual player, and that's collision check for the base. And this is where we get in our main while loop. We have our clock, which is our FPS. This is the collision check. This is why I switched to sprites. It made it really simple. If when colliding is greater than 0, so if it passes through, then your player timer, so if your player timer is greater than 20, then it hits, and that will revert your player timer back to 0 once you get hit. So you have that period of invulnerability. Same thing for the wind check. That's just the base instead of the enemies. And if you hit the base, you'll be reverted back to your main position. So this line does. And wind sound play is the little sound that it makes when you hit it. Here we have our main wall loop, standard for Pygame. All of our speeds for our enemies, you'll see that the cat is ridiculously overpowered, but that makes it fun. That's on the second to the last line. Then you have a slow moving Bowser to just kind of offset it. Player controls, just using the main left, up, down, right, and these are the enemy loops to make sure that when the enemy, if it's running right, then if it's greater than 800, it'll revert back to its original spot. And if it's less than 0, it reverts back to 800. So that just makes sure that they run through the screen and continue running. And let's see here. It's our main background image. That's just blitting onto the screen before everything else. So it's the first thing to get blitted. And let's see here. All right, this is our collision check for our players. So if you have connection with an enemy, your life goes down 1, player timer goes back to 0 for that period of invulnerability, and your position is sent back to the beginning, and the death sound will play. That's our render for our player, draws it onto the screen. If player life is equal to 0, then it removes it, and if you win, it also removes it, because I was having a problem where if you were to win, the frog would still be on the screen, so that you could eventually die 3 more times. So when it said you win, so it pops up you win on the screen, but if you died 3 more times, it would also put game over on top of that. So I had to remove the player after winning. Oh, this is what I did to in case you went off the screen, it would just put you on the other side of the screen, much like the enemies did. And let's see, calling vendors to draw the sprites. This draws all of our sprites. Pretty simple there. This calls our collision check and our wind check. This is if you die. Yes, if you die, then it puts on the game over. This is our updates, creating movement, and this is if you win, then it draws you win on the screen. Counts player lives and score. Oh yes, this is top left corner. You're gonna see your wins, which start at 0. Top right corner, you're gonna see your deaths, which start at 3, or your lives that start at 3. If you die, that goes down. If you win, left side goes up. That draws them on, and always got to have that flip on the end. And pygame.quit. Make sure you close it. So let's go ahead and run it. Here's that space background. Rules: score 3 times to win. If you die 3 times, you lose. Pretty simple. Press space to play and go. Alright, I'll try to show you a win first. You can move left, right, up, down. There's a cat that flies. Alright, so that's the sound that it makes if you die. And let's try to win this time. Nope. Okay, I'll just keep dying. And this cat's gonna kill me, isn't it? And okay, there you go. You're dead. That's a game over. I was actually trying to do that time. No, I wasn't, but there we go. Let's win. Pressure's on. There we go. There's the sound if you win. That's 1. That cat is fast. And there's second time. Let's try to move left and right a little bit this time. And there you go. You win, and you'll see that it takes the frog off the screen, so we don't have that problem occur again. And I didn't really show you in this, but I'll show you again. If you go off the screen, you will be right back there. And if you actually get to the back of the screen and you go up one more time, it'll put you back at the beginning. And that's pretty much it. That's my game. Hope you like it. I had a lot of fun making it, and I think it's pretty enjoyable. So that'd be it. Thanks for watching.